I don't need to agree with it, or I don't even need to be comfortable in it. I think quite the contrary.
For decades, John Travolta has been one of Hollywood's most iconic figures, a star whose charisma, talent, and larger-than-life personality made him a household name. From Saturday Night Fever to Pulp Fiction, he captivated audiences, danced his way into hearts, and became synonymous with charm and confidence. But behind the glitz, the glimmering lights of red carpets, in the applause of millions, there has always been a story that the public only suspected, never fully understood. Now at 71, John Travolta is breaking his silence. For the first time, he is addressing the rumors, the whispers, and the questions that have followed him for decades. He's revealing the truth, the one truth that many fans have longed to hear, but that Hollywood has kept shrouded in mystery. And it's far more personal, far more revealing, and far more human than anyone could have imagined. Insiders say this revelation is not just about fame or career decisions. It's about family, identity, and the choices that define us behind closed doors. Travolta has always been a private man, protective of his loved ones and careful about what he shares publicly. Yet now, with the wisdom of experience and the clarity that comes with age, he feels ready to set the record straight. Hollywood is watching. Fans are listening. In the truth, John Travolta is about to reveal promises to change the way we understand the man behind the legend. Because sometimes, the stories we think we know aren't the full story. And sometimes, the truth is even more extraordinary than the speculation. John Travolta's journey in Hollywood is one of resilience, reinvention, and above all, talent that has spanned decades. From his early days on the television show Welcome Back, Carter to his legendary performance in Saturday Night Fever, Travolta became a symbol of charisma and capability, a performer who could act, sing, and dance with equal skill. But behind the camera and the lights, a different story was quietly unfolding, one that only those closest to him truly understood. Travolta's rise to fame was meteoric, and with it came the pressures that often accompany young stardom. The public saw the confident, charming actor, but inside he was navigating expectations, personal ambitions, and the scrutiny of Hollywood's unforgiving gaze. According to insiders, early in his career, he often felt the tension between artistic freedom and the demands of studios that wanted to shape him into a marketable star. He learned quickly that Hollywood adored him, but only if he fit the image it wanted him to project. By the late 1970s and early 1980s, Travolta had achieved a level of fame few actors ever experience. Saturday Night Fever made him a global superstar, and Grease cemented his status as a pop culture icon. Yet even as audiences cheered, his personal life was more complicated. Sources close to him reveal that he faced challenges balancing career, ambitions with private desires for stability and connection, struggles that were compounded by the intensity of fame. Despite his growing success, Travolta remained deeply private, selectively sharing aspects of his personal life and carefully guarding those closest to him. He developed an acute awareness that public perception could both elevate and trap him. This understanding shaped many of his choices in the following decades, from the roles he accepted to the way he navigated the media. What fans rarely saw were the moments behind the scenes, the quiet decision-making, the negotiations, and the personal sacrifices. Friends and family now reveal that Travolta often wrestled with questions about who he truly was versus the image he presented to the world. He was learning the hard truth that fame can be both a gift and a burden. It offers unparalleled opportunities, but it can also create a sense of isolation, as few people can relate to the unique pressures of a life lived under constant scrutiny. This duality, public adoration versus private challenge, shaped not only his career choices, but also the personal revelations he would eventually share at 71. Travolta's journey is more than a story of stardom. It is a story of self-discovery, resilience, and the courage to confront long-held suspicions and misconceptions about his life. And now, decades after he first danced into the world's imagination, Travolta is ready to reveal what many have speculated about for years. The truth is not about scandal or sensationalism. It's about identity, family, and the choices that define a man behind the fame. For the first time, John Travolta is speaking openly, And the story he tells is far more revealing than the public has ever imagined. As John Travolta entered his 40s and 50s, the public saw a seasoned actor with a career that spanned decades, someone who could reinvent himself at will, moving seamlessly from action films to romantic comedies to musical performances. But behind the polished appearances and red carpet smiles, Travolta was facing personal challenges that the world had only speculated about. These challenges were not about fame, money, or career setbacks. They were about identity, family, and the pressures of living life in a spotlight that never dimmed. Sources close to Travolta reveal that, throughout his life, he carefully maintained privacy for both himself and his family. He married Kelly Preston in 1991, a partnership that provided stability amidst the chaos of Hollywood. Yet even in this marriage, Travolta was aware of the intense scrutiny surrounding his personal life. Every action, every choice, every public appearance was examined under the media lens. He became adept at navigating the delicate balance between transparency and secrecy, sharing just enough to satisfy curiosity while protecting the most important aspects of his life. Travolta's children, family routines, and private moments were guarded fiercely. Insiders explain that this wasn't simply about image management. It was about creating a safe space in a world where fame can erode boundaries. Travolta understood that Hollywood had a tendency to sensationalize, to misconstrue, and to turn personal matters into headlines. And so he became a master of discretion, choosing when to engage with the public and when to retreat to protect the ones he loved. At the same time, Travolta's professional life required constant adaptation. After the peaks of Saturday Night Fever in Greece, he experienced periods of career uncertainty. Critics were quick to question his choices. Audiences sometimes doubted his relevance, and studios occasionally hesitated to cast him in leading roles. Yet Travolta navigated these fluctuations with resilience, using his craft and reputation to reinvent himself continually. Each role, each film, and each public performance became a calculated step toward maintaining both his career longevity and his personal integrity. Behind closed doors, Travolta also faced profound personal questions. How do you reconcile the person you are with the persona the world knows? How do you ensure your family remains protected while you live a life that is, in many ways, public property? These questions shaped many of the decisions that the world would later interpret as mysterious or enigmatic. And now, decades later, Travolta has finally addressed them openly. At 71, he reflects not on scandal, rumors, or past controversies, but on the truth about the life he's chosen to lead. A life dedicated to family, to craft, and to the careful curation of what the world sees versus what remains private. This truth is what Hollywood insiders say he's been carrying quietly for years. A truth that explains why certain decisions were made, why certain stories were kept behind closed doors, and why he remained so enigmatic even at the height of fame. In revealing this truth, Travolta isn't merely sharing personal anecdotes. He is offering a lesson in authenticity, resilience, and the art of navigating life under an unforgiving spotlight. And while some may have speculated about these truths for decades, hearing them directly from Travolta adds a depth, clarity, and humanity that speculation never could. By the time John Travolta reached his 60s, he had become not just a Hollywood icon, but a figure of resilience and reinvention. While many viewed him as untouchable, the man who could dance, act, and charm audiences across generations, those closest to him knew the truth was far more nuanced. Travolta's public image, polished and flawless as it seemed, masked years of careful management, personal reflection, and protective decisions aimed at preserving both his family and his inner life. One of the key aspects of Travolta's story, insiders now reveal, was his relentless commitment to family first. Throughout his career, no matter how demanding the schedule, no matter the scale of the production, Travolta prioritized his children and his marriage. Kelly Preston, his late wife, was more than a partner. She was a collaborator in maintaining a sense of normalcy in a world that rarely allowed it. Their shared understanding of privacy, boundaries, and discretion became a cornerstone of how the family functioned in Hollywood. But even with a supportive family, the pressures of fame were unrelenting. Travolta's career had peaks and valleys, moments of critical acclaim and blockbuster success, alongside periods of uncertainty. Some roles were offered under the shadow of risk. Would he fit audience expectations? Would the project succeed? Travolta faced these challenges not only as a performer, but as a public figure whose every choice was scrutinized. The rumors, speculation, and gossip that inevitably accompanied such a life could have easily overwhelmed someone less disciplined. Yet Travolta managed to navigate it all with a strategic approach. Friends reveal that he meticulously chose his projects, balancing ambition with the desire to maintain privacy. Even when Hollywood expected him to be fully public, to share every detail of his life, he remained guarded. He always understood the value of discretion, one longtime friend noted. John knew that some things are meant to be protected, not broadcast. This careful curation extended to some of the more sensitive aspects of his personal life. For years, speculations swirled about aspects of his identity, beliefs, and private choices. Travolta neither confirmed nor denied these rumors publicly, instead allowing his work and his public persona to speak for him. Behind the scenes, however, he had conversations, reflections, and realizations that shaped how he navigated fame, legacy, and relationships. By 2025, those who have spoken with Travolta describe him as reflective, deliberate, and finally ready to address long-held assumptions. What he reveals now at 71 is not scandalous or sensational, it's profoundly human. He speaks about the importance of boundaries, the courage to make decisions based on principle rather than public expectation, and the way he managed to safeguard both his family and his sense of self in an environment designed to pry and expose. Travolta also touches on lessons learned the hard way, that fame can be both a gift and a trap, that public adoration does not always equate to personal happiness, and that a life well lived requires intentional choices about what to share and what to protect. For fans, these insights are revelatory. They explain years of perceived mystery, clarify decisions that may have seemed puzzling, and highlight the humanity behind the star. Ultimately, Travolta's story is not about Hollywood gossip or media speculation. It's about a man who has lived a life in the spotlight with grace, wisdom, and dedication to his craft, to his family, and to the truth he is now willing to share. His revelations offer a glimpse into a life carefully curated, a career strategically navigated, and a personal journey that few could truly understand until now. Now, at 71, John Travolta is finally revealing the full truth, the one that many fans and Hollywood insiders have long speculated about, but never fully understood. It's a truth that explains not just his career choices, but his approach to life, fame, and family. And it is far more profound and human than anyone expected. Travolta begins by reflecting on the decades of scrutiny, praise, and speculation. The public saw a confident, charming, and multi-talented actor. But behind that public persona was a man who had to navigate constant attention while protecting what mattered most: his family, his personal life, and his inner sense of self. Travolta's careful discretion was not aloofness. It was strategy, discipline, and love, a way to ensure that his private world remained intact amidst the pressures of Hollywood. The first element of his revelation focuses on family and love. Travolta speaks openly about his late wife, Kelly Preston, describing her not just as a spouse, but as a partner in navigating the complexities of fame. Together, they made deliberate choices to shield their children from public exposure whenever possible, maintaining routines, privacy, and stability that would have been nearly impossible in the glare of Hollywood. Travolta emphasizes that many rumors or questions about his personal life could have been avoided if people understood the depth of this protective approach. Next, Travolta addresses the misconceptions about his career choices. Over the years, he was often questioned for taking roles that seemed unexpected or unconventional. Some critics interpreted these moves as odd or inconsistent. But Travolta now explains that every choice was deliberate, often influenced by timing, family considerations, and personal readiness, rather than public expectation. He had learned that longevity in Hollywood required not just talent, but strategy, knowing when to step into the spotlight and when to step back. Travolta also speaks candidly about identity and personal truth. Hollywood thrives on narratives, speculation, and gossip, and for years he maintained privacy around aspects of his personal identity. Travolta now shares that protecting this space was essential to his mental and emotional well-being. By choosing what to reveal and what to keep private, he was able to live authentically while managing the pressures of fame. A delicate balance few outside the industry can fully grasp. Finally, Travolta reflects on legacy. He emphasizes that his journey is not defined solely by films, awards, or public acclaim. Instead, it's defined by the lessons he's learned. The importance of resilience, the necessity of protecting what matters most, and the value of intentional living. Travolta hopes that by sharing these truths, fans and aspiring performers can understand that fame and success are not just about visibility. They are about making deliberate choices that honor personal values and protect loved ones. In conclusion, Travolta's revelations at 71 are a testament to a life lived carefully, wisely, and with love. They illuminate the man behind the roles, the dances, and the red carpets, a man who prioritized family, navigated fame with grace, and preserved his truth in a world that constantly demanded exposure. The public may have speculated for decades, but now John Travolta has spoken for himself. His story reminds us that even in the brightest spotlight, the most important battles and victories often happen quietly, away from cameras and headlines, in the heart of family and self-awareness. Hollywood has seen the legend. Now the world sees the truth.